Hello, welcome back to Sacred Vapes, a channel that aims to bring you the views and experiences of products in the market today, brought to you by an average vapor. Now, this is the fabled review I've been talking about for quite some time now. It's something quite a special release. It's this, the Uwell Crown 4 kit. Now, I picked this up separately. I actually bought the tank going back about 3-4 weeks ago, and then I bought the mod, which only just arrived this week. So I've been using it all week to get a good idea of it. But before we get into that, we're going to get talking about Uwell in general. Now, 3 years ago, Uwell came out when the market was dominated by Kangatech, the Subtank, and the Aspire Atlantis. They were the standard of the Subtank. And then Uwell, out of nowhere, released the Uwell Crown, which at the time was absolutely fantastic. It was much better made. It gave more flavour, more vapour production. It was brilliant. And it looked like you had a real big player in the market. And then the following year, they released the Crown 2. Now, the Crown 2 and the Raphael that they released with it was a massive failure. The coils were awful. They were awful. They did improve after a while, but it completely bombed, and Uwell kind of just disappeared. And then going back, and then another year later, the very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very underwhelmingly released the Crown 3 and the Valerian tank, and that again put Uwell back up there. It was a fantastic sub-ohm tank, the Uwell Crown 3, and the Valerian as well. I mean, I was a massive fan of that. I was using that for about 3-4 months this year. Brilliant products. So about 18 months have passed since then, and they've brought back this, the Crown 4. Now they've released it as a kit. I will talk about them both in the video, give you a good idea of what they're like. But before we get into the details, let's give her a vape. Now, what do you get in the kit? Well, you get these as a kit. I bought them separately, like I say, but you get the Uwell 4 Crown tank, and you get the Uwell Crown mod or Checkmate, depending on where you look. It seems to have different names. What the mod is, it's a dual 18650 device. It's a battery door magnetic, so you've got 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Nice. It feels soft. I mean, it feels soft, but it does hold in place quite well. You get a lovely matching crown design. See, if you buy it in the kit, it'll match the colour of the mod. See there, you get a crown on the fire button. You can see this has still got the plastic sleeve on. So there's the screen. It's gone off. So you get your watts, your power, you get your battery indicators, you get battery percentage as well, and power mode, and the second you're vaping it for. And on the bottom there, 2 navigation buttons and USB port on the top. Let's get into that. So it's the 510 pin put on the, what I'd call the right hand side of the mod. So you're looking at, this is only going to hold about 25mm tanks without overhang. The overall shape, the box with the rounded edges, made out of metal. The tank. Now the tank, I'm going to hopefully be able to go through without getting liquid everywhere. So it comes with bubble glass, 6mm bubble glass, or you'll get the 2mm glass if you buy the TBD version. Comes with replaceable 810 drip tip, top fill, half turn, and you can see there, loads of fill holes. I found the 2mm glass experiences with that has been that it's very hard to fill, so you do need the bigger glass. Comes with bottom adjustable airflow, Now, this is where I'm hoping this doesn't backfire on me. I'm going to show you the coils. You get two different types of coils. Right, you screw this off. There's your bottom of something. And you'll notice the coils inside. That's because you literally just pull it out. You pull it out. And you can see this coil's had a little bit of use now. Yeah, getting a little bit of juice leakage as I'm doing that. But yeah, you just push the coil inside and tighten it back up, and you're good to go again. The coils that you get now, if you buy the tank itself, you don't get the mesh coil in the box. I'm not too sure if you get one in the kit. I've read that you do, but I've also seen people say that you don't. So you get the stainless steel, I think it's 904L metal. It's apparently the selling pictures that they were used in high quality watches, that type of metal. So it's high quality coil material. And the mesh you're looking at 0.15, I think they're rated at between 60 and 70 recommended. So it definitely does deliver both standard and mesh vapes. But how does it perform? Go into the pros and cons of this now. Sorry, I'm just cleaning the entire device up, just because I have noticed. We'll start with a pro then. I have noticed the tank can be about like half full and you can still pull the coil out. I mean, obviously I've got a full tank there, so that's why I did get some juice leaking there. But generally, about half full, you can replace the coil. That's fine. So that's a pro. Next pro for me, capacity out the box, 6mm, fantastic. Another pro, the coils vape really well. I must admit the coils do vape really well. You get really nice flavour from them. I was vaping the standard at about 75, and I vape the mesh at about 70. I have noticed that they can go higher than what's recommended, but I'll get into that in just a second. The tank is nice and easy to use. I say the quarter, that's screwing the tank off, but quick turn there, lift off, you're done. I say nice and secure as well. There's no loosening of that just by standard. The inside, if you can actually see, it's like a cage that holds the coil in place. So if you match it up well, you can still read the coil. If you don't, if you just put it in like I just did, you won't see that information. So next pro, I say the flavour, fantastic. Really nice flavour you get from the coils. Vapor production is great for a single mesh or standard coil, so that's another pro. The fact that it's 510, that's always going to be a pro. I love the design of it. I really think it's a nice design. It's different, it's unique, and it works really well. I love the fact that the coils push into it. Again, it makes it nice and easy. Now, something that this does come with, I think they advertise it wrong. It's self-cleaning technology. It's talking about the condensation underneath, but I found it works in a different and better way, because what this tank seems to do with the coils is that it brings more liquid in more efficiently compared to just any other sub-ohm tank. So even though it's classed as a cleaning, all it's doing is really utilising the liquid that's in the tank, so you can vape the tank completely empty before you start getting the dry hits. So absolutely fantastic. Get into the pros of the mod now. Now, actually, before we go into the pros of the mod, I'll show you a quick thing. So 5 clicks turns the device off. You can see. Get Uwell back on. Now, there isn't a menu system as such. I'll show you guys. But there is a lock. Oop. If you hold the navigation button and fire, that's not doing it for me while I'm on camera. I pressed them at the same time. There you go. So the left navigation button and hold locks the device completely. Doesn't do that. Right navigation button locks them buttons only, and you can still vape. Right, let's get that unlocked. Menu system itself works very much the same way as the Dragon and the Nova. 3 clicks and it takes you to be able to select like that, selecting power. There's stainless steel 904 and TCR, and that's it. The only power options that you get with this device, there's no bypass, there's no other temperature control, or at least from me playing around with it, I couldn't change them options. I did have a go and I couldn't change to anything else. So that's all you really get in the menu system. Sorry, still cleaning this from before. So the pros of the mod itself: feels nice and weighty, it's nice and comfortable in the hand. It's a nice size as well. I mean, I'll compare it to the Drag, and it's, as you can see, it comes in smaller than the Drag 2. Width wise, it's about the same. So it's a really nice, comfortable mod. It performs really well. It's quick firing. I mean, as you can see, fires really quickly there. Simple menu system's always going to be a pro. I'm a big fan of mods that design more for the get up and go type vapes. You know, things like the Arcus, specifically. But you know, the Drag 2 does it, the Nova does it. You know, just nice, quick, easy vaping. You haven't got a million and one options to go into to set it up the way you want. Obviously, if you do want them sort of devices, there are options on the market. Next pro for me, the fire button's nice and clicky. As you can hear, just turn the device off. And there's no sticking at all. I say the chipset inside this works really well, it's really fast. As I did literally like a few seconds from turning it on to vaping. You know, always a pro for me. The lock system I think is nice. The fact that it gives you the option to lock both the buttons and the whole device. Not that many mods let you do that on the market, I've found. So it's always nice to have that option. Battery life on this, pretty standard. I will say about a day, just over a day. So it's a little bit less than the Drag 2. But overall, it will last you longer than, say, like the Drag Mini. You know, on the internal battery, it will last you over a day before you have to change. Another pro for me, it's a subjective one, but it's them battery indicators. The fact that you get the battery levels and you get the battery percentage as well. That's also a good thing for me on this device. So yeah, they're the pros. It looks, I say, it looks really nice. That back design is nice. You know, it feels solid. Going to the cons now. Going to the cons of the tank. Now, when I said I'd come back to it, I will come back to it now. The coils run quite hot. The standard coils, the SS904L, they, if you chain vaping on them, they do run hot. And especially if you're doing like 6-7 pulls. So that's a con for me. That's why I picked up the mesh coils to give them a try, because I wanted to see if they do the same thing, and they don't unless you're putting over the recommended. So the mesh coil doesn't warm up as much unless, as I say, you go over the recommended. I'm vaping now quite low at the minute. But yeah, you'd get about 70 watts on the mesh. It doesn't warm up at all, and it's a very smooth vape. It really is a smooth vape. You know, the fact that you can chain vape, it will keep up. So I'm still talking about pros here, but so the con is that the coils do heat up once you go 75 plus. Now the coils can keep up with that, but you are going, like, for argument's sake, I'll turn this mesh up to about 85. See, so it does keep up, but it's, I mean, I didn't want to try and dry hit it straight on the video, but it does keep up. It just will run the tank quite hot. So next con for me, the battery life isn't as long. I think now we're in the point with the Drag 2 and with Nova. The reason why I keep saying them is because they're your standard box mods that you can buy now. You know, the battery life is going to be more subjective, because if it doesn't match them, you know, that's going to be a bit of an issue for me. But it does run a little bit long, but not enough. I did find just over a day, and I am having to recharge the batteries. Next con for me, I mean, you probably saw at the start of that video, is that battery door. You know, I'm running my hand on that, and it's coming off. You can see it's not secure. Again, I'm going to use it as a comparison. The battery door on the Drag 2 doesn't do that, even though people complain of the looseness. That's a bit of a con as well for me. So it makes it easier to come off in your pocket, which you never want to happen. Say the con for that being where it is. I mean, I'm a fan of them being centralized, but I think with the shape of the mod, you are going to get that 25mm only, which is fine because it's designed to be used as a kit. But overall, you know, that's going to be a bit of a con for people, especially on the edge, because it's almost as if it's purposely designed. You can see there, it's like curved. It's purposely designed for a 25mm tank. Other than that, there's not really that many cons I will say about this. So we'll go into the overall now. Overall, this video probably sounds really negative, and I don't mean it to be. It's actually, the Crown kit is absolutely fantastic quality. The tank itself is fantastic quality, I will say that. I love the fact that it's very efficient with the juice. You know, it's a lovely flavour. The flavour almost on par with the Falcon mesh coils, I will say as well. Just overall though, I don't think this, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I find that it's not as good as the Falcon, not by much, but the Falcon's still best single mesh tank on the market for me. But it's still very high quality. I mean, even just roll back to another con I found. It's a very tippy mod. I don't know whether it's because of the design and with that on the side of it, but it's very easy to tip. It really will. So you have to be really wary of that. I mean, I'm surprised that this glass hasn't smashed the amount of times it fell over on me over the past week. Well, not week, but you know, over the past like 4 or 5 days. But overall, the tank is really high quality. That glass is really good, as I say. It vapes really well. It doesn't dry hit. It performs. You know, the flavour's great. The mod's pretty. I'd say the mod's a pretty standard mod. It's nothing special. So if you're picking up the kit itself for around about £50–55, then absolutely, you know, it's going to work really well for you. But if you want a better mod, obviously buy them separately. Would I recommend this kit? No. Well, I'd say if you like the look of it and you want the Crown 4 tank, yeah, you know, the price of it for mod and tank is well worth it. I will say that it's really value for money. I'm not a fan of this kit though. And as I say, I know I'm going to be like one of the minority will say this, but I'm not a big fan. I find that the tank vapes a bit too smooth for my liking. I'm not getting the throat hit that I like. and the mod, as I being tippy, where that's placed, I'm not a big fan of it myself, but it is really high quality. I would recommend it if you do like the look of it. Just for me, I prefer things like the Drag 2, and I prefer tanks like the Falcon and the Skynet over the Crown 4. But that's not to say it isn't high quality, it isn't value for money. So yeah, a bit of a controversial video opinion that, but we'll say that. Next up for you guys, I'm going to be bringing the shaken vape review. I've got 10 flavours for them. I'm going to bring all of them, my thoughts on that. As always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I say next, coming up this weekend, I say apart from the liquid review, hoping to bring the artery bat on as well. And maybe after that, take a little bit of a break for Christmas. But as always, thank you for watching, really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. Drop a comment below, let me know your thoughts if you've tried this. And yeah, stay safe. And keep vaping.